Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator news and updates. And we have old planes that have been updated, new planes that are on their way, new planes that have been released, and just a big episode about planes. So stick around. If you are interested in any of my tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below. All right, folks. So first out of the gate, we have the Aeroplane Heavens Rayalle. I always say this one on Cicada Rayalle 893 from Microsoft Flight Simulator has received a minor update. It is a pretty important one, though, when it looks to the fact that it addresses the bug that was causing overspeeding and overstressing of the aircraft. I did a review of this video or of this aircraft quite a while back when it first released. This is a really fun plane, you guys. I didn't particularly run into this one, but once, and I honestly thought that it was 100% pilot error and brushed it off, but it was because of the flap setting. Essentially, if you dropped your flaps below or above 60 knots, it would cause the aircraft to stress and you would crash. And so I ended up thinking that it was just me, and just sort of wrote it off as pilot error, but apparently there were far more issues with overspeeding and overstressing the aircraft with this particular aircraft that caused it to be updated. So cool. Didn't know that. Still probably was my fault in the end because I don't watch my flap arc near as often as I should. Although I'm getting better about it now that I'm getting ready to go for my pilot's license. But you guys can pick this little guy up at the Orbix website. The Orbix website. For approximately 20 US dollars. Let's call it like that. It's like 18 change is what it comes out to, but 20 US bucks. It's a really good aircraft for the price. Always keep that in mind when it comes to, you know, at the end of the day, any review that I do comes down to what's the price. But it's a really, really fun aircraft. Nice little GA, fun to go touring around with, especially if you want just a sort of lightweight, really easy to use, low wing aircraft. It's sort of, the way I would compare is a similar experience as, you know, why do you choose to fly the Cessna 152 versus the 172 or 182, right? So this would definitely be in the 152 category, but a really, really well done aircraft for, again, less than 20 bucks if memory serves. Again, Orbix website. Next up on our list, another minor update, if you will, for the T45 Ghost Hawk from India Fox Techo. This brings the aircraft version up to version 1.4.4 and primarily focuses on engine sound and the flyby sound, which just the fact there is a flyby sound in Microsoft Flight Simulator is just weird to say to begin with. You can do it, it's just tough. Anyways, so one of the big kickers, and why am I doing a video specifically on this and making an announcement on this, is because of who did the sound. The sound is done by Echo 19. For those of you who may not be aware, Echo 19 is a major sound developer, third-party developer for sound improvements for DCS World. They have done an absolutely fabulous job with everything from the environment in DCS World to specific aircraft such as the F-16 Viper, the F-18 Hornet, the Tomcat, moving on. Okay, but they do, it is their specialty, if you will. And so the fact that they stepped up and did an update for this aircraft is actually a pretty big deal. So if you do have the T45 or are interested in picking that up, we'll talk about where to get that here in just a second. But if you do have it, definitely update it. I have stated on more than one occasion on this channel that sound can be an even bigger immersion breaker than graphical errors or graphical inconsistencies or lack of being correct, if you will, depending on what the image is. Sound is everything, in my opinion, especially if you're flying in virtual reality. That is probably the fastest way to kick you out of a nice immersive experience in VR, is if the sound is goofy, because you're in that three-dimensional world and you know, you can feel it, you can see it, and then something in your ears says that's not right, and it can be a breaker, right? Sound is just as important. I think it's probably, like I said, I think it's more important than graphics. I really do. I think sound is a big kicker. Really, it can be heartbreaking almost when you have this like epically badass looking, you know, aircraft or something, and then all of a sudden You know, the sound is just not where it needs to be. So this is a big deal for me, in my personal opinion. Echo 19 is probably one of the best in the biz when it comes to audio. So if you guys are interested, you guys can also pick this aircraft up on the Orbix site, and this one comes in at right around 25 US dollars. So a bit more, but again, India Fox Techo and their badassness, they do fantastic work. So the fact that India Fox Techo paired up with Echo 19 is a major bonus. So make sure you guys check that out. All right, we have another aircraft updated. I told you guys. And that is the Cows DA40-XLS. This is an amazingly fun aircraft, you guys. A bit more on the expensive side, but very, very well modeled. It's what I would borderline call high fidelity in the aspect of failures, startup procedures, failing to, or I should say consequences of failing to adhere to those procedures, as I discovered when I was first testing this aircraft. So I did a review of this aircraft as well. If you guys want to search my channel for that, just simply go to my videos and hit search and type DA40-XLS and it will pop right up. This aircraft was a blast to fly. The flight model is very, very realistic and yet not overwhelming. It's a very fun, very powerful little aircraft. It's a 180 horsepower engine, so it brings quite a bit of a pack for its size. Little tiny 4-person, you know, play around on a Sunday afternoon kind of aircraft with a bit more to it. What I really like about it was its engine management system. It's a fast little plane, and very, very easy to control, whether you are adding power, reducing power, whatever it may be. And it's very easy to stabilize it. So it was a ton of fun. Now this aircraft update comes from quite a few different things. So first off, it brings a new enhancement to spark plug fouling, making that far more realistic, which means you're gonna have to pay more attention to your engine leans and procedures as far as managing the engine. Also, just to be clear real quick, touch on for a second, the aircraft is supported in both 2020 and 2024, so that's always a plus. But it gives a range of fixes and changes, again, that were based on the community feedback, as well as improvements to the documentation, some typos that were fixed, improvement to the flight model and overall simulation of the aircraft, and again, enhanced spark plug fouling, as well as a new livery. So you guys can, once again, this seems to be an Orbix day. This wasn't intentional, I promise. But you guys can pick this up on Orbix Central for right around 35 US dollars. But we'll go through a real quick highlight. So again, they removed the mixture lever and propeller LVAR units. So what that means is that it was to use the propeller pitch and mixture, you were almost required to use some sort of LVAR operation, such as SPAD.NEX or X's and O's. I could not get it to map within directly in the simulator. Now, luckily, I own SPAD, so I was able to get around that, but that was an issue. So it sounds like they've removed that, so now it can be mapped directly inside the simulator. Fixed the propeller button inputs. They fixed parking brake not being recognized by external programs. Again, like SPAD, X's and O's wouldn't engage or disengage the parking brake. Fixed checklist typos and added starting troubleshooting steps. So if you run into any issues while trying to start it, they've added some steps to check. Oh, improved combustion simulation improvements. Excuse me. Let me try that again. Combustion simulation improvements was also added. So you're going to get a better feel of how the engine is actually going through the combustion process, and you're going to feel that change based on what you do with the aircraft. Again, they added the new spark plug fouling, increased horizontal panel shake, added a new livery, added a back panel flow livery, and updated the documentation to these aircraft. Again, you can pick this one up for about 35 US dollars. Absolutely wonderful aircraft, extremely recommended. The Flight FX team have finally released their Piaggio P180 turboprop pusher aircraft. Okay, so this guy can exceed almost 400 knots and is a twin engine turboprop, but it is a pusher, meaning that the props are in the back of it, as you guys can see here in this image. This thing looks absolutely fantastic. I have already acquired this aircraft and will be doing a full review of this aircraft this week. I'm hoping by either tomorrow or Tuesday at the latest, today being Sunday at the date of this recording. This aircraft looks absolutely fantastic with a ton of different options and features to it. We're going to go over some of those. I'm going to stick to more in-depth review of it, obviously, when we do the video itself, but you can see it has the T-tail performance with the pusher props. It's got an incredible amount of performance that comes with this aircraft. Let's go ahead and start diving into some of the textures here. I mean, it looks stunning. I cannot wait. And I haven't sat in this aircraft yet. I wanted to make sure that my first impressions video that I'm going to be doing, guys, is truly a first impression. So you guys are seeing all that I have seen as of yet. I have it downloaded. I have not sat in it so much as loaded the aircraft up yet. But this looks absolutely fantastic. It's a gorgeous. I love these private jets. The private jets are, and jets, you guys know what I mean, right? Private aircraft, however you want to put it, the business class of aircraft. They're a real nice blend between general aviation and commercial. You get a lot of the same commercial aspect once you engage the autopilot, just like you would with any of those other aircraft that are. You get similar altitudes. You get, I mean, like I said, this one exceeds 400 knots. So you can get very similar speed performance out of them. And yet they give you a slightly different feel when flying them. It's not quite that big, heavy commercial. When you disengage the autopilot, it's almost like you're back into that GA feel. So it really, you have that option of flying it however you want, if that makes sense of what I'm trying to get across. So if you as pilots have not tried out some of the smaller business jet or business aircraft, I really recommend it. Give one a shot. Give them a shot, whether it be a TBM 850, this P180, however you want to go. Give one a shot, because they're a really awesome blend between the two worlds that give you sort of that option, you know, of how do you feel like flying that particular day. And they bring that. Now, the beautiful part about this particular aircraft is it is only $24.99. And I've already watched other reviews of it, and I can tell you that it's worth the price and probably then some, quite a bit more than that, actually, in my opinion. I would have priced this probably at $40 or $45, but that's just me. And that's just based on the videos, right? That's on the videos that I have seen. So, you know, who knows? I may get into it and find out that everyone was full of it, but I doubt it. So some of the things we have here: a Pro Line 21 avionics suite. So it's nice to see a different avionics suite in SIM. Advanced flight and engine modeling, custom prop and steering control for beginners and pros alike. You can choose between a simplified workflow for easier experience, or you can opt for advanced realism and makes it just as specialized as can be. I love it when developers do that. I love it when this aircraft has the capability to be hard as hell, or if you're not in the mood for that today, or just that's not what you're looking for, but you want to enjoy the plane, they can make it easy. I love that. I think everyone should do that. They have a virtual aircraft management system. This I thought was interesting. Includes a multi-directional mount for flexible tablet position or hiding, which I thought was fun. And built-in support for Navigraph and OpenStreetMap enhances your flight planning. So basically their own version of the EFB, but I thought it was kind of fun. Immersive audio and noise management. We talked in a previous segment here about my importance of sound. Realistic startup and alerts. Selectable cabin enhancements. That I know that some of you can take it or leave it. I like the extra little bells and whistles and features that are included in some of these aircraft. And selectable cargo enhancements. Again, that's going to be a visual aspect. I mean, obviously your weights and balances, they will be affected, but for the most part, things like that are going to be visual. So anyway, getting through more of these screenshots, you guys can see here, I hate these freaking ads that pop up. You guys can see some of the visual enhancements to the cabin area. Now getting onto the flight deck, this thing looks gorgeous. And just a teaser shot. And again, but you guys can see what I'm getting at here. This is a really, really well done flight deck. So got that nice sheep seating that you find in the Boeings, which I think is kind of fun. But anyways, guys, this aircraft has released. Now, it is only available via the NSIM marketplace, which means right now, that means that you can only get it in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And I wouldn't go with 2024 anyway until the marketplace is officially 100% up and running. So anyway, food for thought. Okay, sticking with Flight FX for just a moment here. We've got actually a couple announcements in this one video. So first off, obviously Flight FX have announced the development of the Embraer 145. One of the most heavily sought after aircraft in the simulator. I've heard the 145 come up multiple times over the years. Now, give you guys a heads up right now that they are expecting a release as late as the fourth quarter of 2025, which really, when you think about development timeframes and the fact that they're just now putting the 3D model together, and there are some assembly photos we'll look at here in just a minute, that's really not a bad time frame at all when you take in consideration that they also have the C750 releasing hopefully at the end or by the end of April of 2025. For those of you who may not be aware, the C750 is Cessna Citation Longitude 750-10. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm actually really excited for that aircraft. As you guys may or may not know, in my Patreon site, I have a full tutorial guide for the Sobos Cessna Citation Longitude. Gosh, that's a hard one to get out. So the fact that they're making the 750 version, I'm pretty stoked about that. It's going to be pretty cool. It's got awesome winglets, really gorgeous looking airplane. Look it up, C750 or Cessna Citation 750. Really pretty airplane. But now sticking back with this particular aircraft, it will boast the Primus 2000 avionics suite. And again, that's going to be the same suite that exists in the C750, which is where that comment came from. So now, they are looking at a retail price of this aircraft will be coming right around $29.99. Let's just call it $30 US. Obviously, give or take tax, sales fees, etc., depending on where you live. They haven't stated whether or not it will be specific to the Microsoft marketplace. I would imagine so, based on their history. For example, the P180 we just discussed is the marketplace only, but just something to be on the lookout for. So again, super excited for actually both of these announcements. The Embraer 145 will be a ton of fun to fly, and they have both the 145 and the 145 XR, which is extended range. So you can do just about anything that you can do with a private jet or with a commercial jet. You know, a little puddle jumper. This is a good one for that. I've flown on a couple of these before for the commercial aspect, flying from like Tucson to Phoenix before. You know, it's short. That's a little. I think we're total air flight time, to give you guys an idea, is about 20 minutes if you're not familiar with the area. So, I mean, you're literally up and down. I think they take us to about 16,000 feet and you come right back down again. So, very, very fun plane to fly. A little on the cramped size if you are of larger stature. I'll warn you. But it should be a very nice addition to the simulator. So good luck, Flight FX, and great announcements. I mean, between the 750 and the 145, following the P180 that just released, they're kicking some tail, man. Good job. So now let's take a look at a couple of images from the aircraft so you guys can enjoy those. So just a few images here. You guys can see there is the radar cone, or the radar dome, I should say, for the aircraft. A little bit of landing gear texturing done, modeling done there. Certainly a lot of detail being put into that. You can see all the way down to the lug heads. And they're putting a lot of effort into the modeling of it. I just think about the time it must take to do this. It's just insane. Maybe it's easier than I think, but I doubt it. That's cool. Again, sticking with their history of having a whole bunch of stuff that's ambient. There you go. There's one of the business jet or I don't know why I keep saying business jet. I'm hung up on a business jet today. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. The commercial looks like 121 configuration, unless that's just 1-2. I can't really tell. I think that's just 1-2. Yeah, I don't think you could do 121 in a 145, so it must just be 1-2. Which I'd be on the one side because that would be far more comfortable for me. But anyway, yeah, some pretty cool. What are we looking at here? I'm not 100% positive what we're seeing here. What is this? Looks like a door? Are we looking at this from upside down? I can't tell what this is. Anyway, a little bit of modeling work, because yeah, it's got to be, because there's a door right there. Maybe cargo area? I don't know. I don't know what we're looking at here. That one's kind of weird. But anyways, so go Flight FX, and hopefully we get this sooner than they think. All right, and this last bit is just from me. First off, guys, we have a ton of new stuff coming to the channel here. We are bringing back the DOF Reality H3 motion platform to the channel. Now, we're going to be doing a ton of things. I ask you guys, please, please, please help me grow the channel down the link below. YouTube is really finicky with the algorithm, and it can crush everything if I do what I want to do, which is basically we're going to be getting into American Truck Simulator, Construction Simulator. We're going to be doing some logging. We're going to be doing Farm Simulator 2025. We're going to be doing a ton of flying. We're going to be bringing DCS World back. But the problem is anytime that I stray away from Microsoft Flight Simulator, and this is for any content creator because of the nature of the algorithm, it pushes even the Microsoft Flight Simulator videos down. So that content that you guys enjoy so much and that you guys comment on that I love so much, you guys may not see it. So I'm trying to find a way to do this. And the only way to do that I feel is to effectively is to set up a second channel. A link to that channel is down in the description below. It's Overkill Entertainment 8 at the end of it. Is the YouTube channel name. So make sure that you guys grab that, hit that link, like and subscribe for me. It would really help me get things moving. I would really appreciate you guys' support on this. It would mean a lot to me. And then you guys are gonna get to see so much stuff coming this and then in the coming weeks. There is so many pieces of new hardware. Some of you got a sneak peek at one of them last week. Again, to Moza, I'm sorry. If you know, you know. I'm not going to specify what it was, but I showed something that apparently wasn't supposed to show yet, but nobody told me that I wasn't supposed to show it yet. And there's multiple products like that that I have lined up right now, reviews that are ready to go, hardware that's ready to be showcased to you guys. That is so freaking awesome. There's going to be a really cool update to the AB9. Moza is really going to be well, Moza and WinWing both are going to be a major focus of this channel for a minute. There's some really, really awesome stuff coming our way, you guys. And some things that I think you guys are going to absolutely be blown away by. There's a major update and a new feature being brought to the AB9. If you guys are familiar with that, the AB9 is the force feedback flight stick system that Moza developed, and they are doing something very, very incredible with it that I can't wait to share that with you guys as well. That I think you're going to be super excited about. It's really changed a lot of things just in the beta form that I'm being able to use it in. I can't wait. Wish I could tell you more, but I can't yet. New stuff coming from WinWing, as we've talked about, some really awesome stuff. There's got we have a new guide coming around the corner. By the way, in regards to the Learjet guide, I do apologize for the delay. Unfortunately, this last week I got sick, my kids got sick. Things got really rough. As you guys may or may not know, I am a single parent now. I have my children full time, so that got things. Unfortunately, when they get sick, it puts a pretty big damper on things. I don't really have a lot of help, so you know. Speaking of which, I just heard something crash and bang in the other room, wondering what it was. But anyways, it's one of those things you hear as a parent and you go, I'll just pretend everything's okay. Nobody's screaming or crying yet, so we're good there. But anyways, I'm really excited about the stuff that's coming you guys' way. Be on the lookout for that P180 full flight review. We're going to be doing that this week as well. We're going to be bringing back a ton of content for the Pimax Crystal Light. There's a lot of really cool stuff that we're doing with it as well. Pimax is on the rampage. They're coming in hard, guys. Make sure that if you guys are looking into virtual reality, you really consider Pimax and really consider that Pimax Crystal Super. The Super is going to have a ton of capability later on, and especially by the time it reaches fruition, I cannot express it enough. There's so much coming this year, guys. For example, to the Crystal Super, one of the things that it will eventually have is the ability for mixed reality. It will have a mixed reality faceplate later down the road. I don't think it's going to be at launch, but it should be shortly or later down. I won't say shortly. I want them to get it right. But anyways, so many things, guys. I could go on and on. There's so much happening right now, and it's happening really, really fast. So, as always, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for all of your continued support. It means so much to me and my family, especially now more than ever. Please consider joining that second channel, Overkill Entertainment 8. There's a link to it down in the description of all of my videos. Be sure to also join the Discord, guys. Love to talk to you guys on the Discord. I have people reach out to me all the time. I may not get back to you the same day, but I always get back to everyone who messaged me on Discord at some point. I try to work through the line here. So you guys know the drill. Stay safe, stay healthy. Have a wonderful week, folks. I'll see you in the next one.